Yo, what's up, Cobsy 911? So here we are. We're gonna be reviewing your video, just like you asked. I'm gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna be critiquing this on a few different aspects. One, as a YouTube video, like how does it work as like a YouTube video itself, being on YouTube and stuff. Two, how's like the animation and the filmmaking, and really those are really it. Just so I think at first glance here, you got the intro thing going on. Personally, this is just a me thing. I'm not a fan of intros, but the good news is that it only lasts for 5 seconds. That's not the worst. It's not like super long. It doesn't take up the entirety of the video. That's when it gets really problematic. But even still, I think maybe having an intro can be a little bit um could be like risky, right? Because when you click on a YouTube video, people love just seeing what they're gonna get into like that as fast as possible. People don't really feel like, at least most people in my experience, they just really like it when videos get right down to the action. Thankfully, the intro doesn't last too long, and right after the intro ends, you do have this shot of Spider-Man running through. You got some action, you got some solid actual animation. It's not just a guy standing still. Spider-Man is running. Oops. Spider-Man is running on this rooftop. Nice set building. I like the way that looks. Maybe I guess with the set building, I like how you have this cloud here too. Pretty nice. All I can really say maybe is that maybe you should have some distance between the set and the background base plate. That way the sky looks a little bit more deep. I'm not exactly sure how much room you have to work with though. So you know, if this is pretty much like within your reasonable limitations, then it can't really fault you for that, right? So I still like the set design. I still like this top of this set, and really just what is this set? This is a nice set. Also, I don't know exactly how you may have recorded my lines. I'm not sure if you downloaded them or not, but I feel like they might have been better quality than how they're sounding here when I sent you them. Maybe just let me know how you rip them. Anyways, funny fall. I like the way, you know, just the way he flips down. And you can see him kind of like with his legs like this. It reminds me of a video game kind of. Nice, pretty nice. Animation wise, I think maybe, uh, I think when you have like a frame when you have somebody dropping from the sky like this, I think maybe this is a little bit too many frames unless you're going for that comedic sort of slow fall. I think maybe you need this frame. I don't think you need this one though. So this one could probably also work, but not this one, and not this one. But that one, yes, you need. So the way I'm gonna pull up my animation real quick. So I have like the reverse of that kind of going on in this shot here. Uh, where these guys get pulled by Spider-Man. As you can see, I don't have when he gets hit by the spider web and he gets pulled up, I have one frame where he's just briefly above the ground. The next frame he's much higher, and then the last frame is just him barely being in it. And that's kind of like my 3 frame rule for things exiting and entering the frame. I do that again here. So we get like an extra frame of him getting snapped by the web, and then he gets dragged away. That's 1 frame above the ground. Uh, Load. And 1 frame where he's just barely in the frame. And then for Spider-Man landing in the frame, you see his shadow right here, and then I have his feet just dangling within the frame, and then the very next frame I have him already on the ground. That's kind of how I do drops. So this is how it looks like in motion. Um, but this is not about me. This is about you. That's just how I do things. Because that way, you wanna if you're having a fall, you need to have it build momentum, right? But as the more frames deep you are in a fall, the much bigger the gap should be within the fall. Like within the movement. I think yeah, like you do that. You kind of do. Okay, so you do that. In this next shot, it's nice because he falls a lot faster in this case. He's built up that momentum. I guess the one thing you want to do though after that is when he does fall on the ground, you want to add a bit of a shakiness. You want to have him kind of bounce up a bit. You don't actually have to put him in the air again, but you might want to do a thing where like you lift up, you make his entire torso jump up, prop him up on his arms and legs a little bit. Make it go higher. Uh, Give him some shakes, you know. Give him when he lands on the ground, you need to animate some bounce, some impact. Cause him to, just kind of sporadically shake when he lands. And then have it calm down a bit. That's how you kind of get impact in your landings, I think. Um I like this angle though. That's the thing, right? It's just that uh I like this angle that you got going on here, where it's like a bird's eye view kind of deal. But maybe you kind of want Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a bit out of frame. You kind of like with an angle like this, you kind of want your main subjects to be more in the center. More in the focus. Here, it starts off with him in the focus, um, but unfortunately, he kind of falls pretty out of frame. It's kind of hard to see him. Not a big deal because we still know where he is. But just to be more, I guess. Uh, for the viewer, it just makes a nicer shot if it's more like in frame or centered. I like the voice acting by Venom a lot. Also, I like the way these characters move too. I think the movement is fine. This joke makes me laugh. Boom. Nice. Okay, so when he says, "When you're relentless, aren't you?" I think it'd be a good idea to change the angle so that way it focuses on Spider-Man's face. Maybe you can have him like do a close up of his face, or do like a long shot maybe. But I think when you have a character changing their dialogue, you don't always have to do this, mind you. When the dialogue changes from character to character, it would be a good idea to switch up the angle. Once again, this is not too big of a deal because this shot does not last for that long. At least I don't remember. Yeah, you change the shot here. Although when you do change the shot, just that kick was nice. I think when you do change the shot, you kind of have the same angle here. You're looking from them. You're looking at them from this sort of like this three quarters, from behind Spider-Man in front of Venom. You can see like their three quarters profile, and when you cut to the next angle, uh, it's kind of the same angle, right? You got that same sort of behind them. You get most of their back, but some of their side. That's like that, that three quarters sort of definition. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm using that term right, but essentially, uh, these two angles are different. You definitely put the camera in a different spot, but the angle itself doesn't really show us more of the set. This looks like a pretty cool set, uh, like a pretty cool backdrop. You want to show the audience more of that. Yeah, this is see Loki. So this is a completely different angle. Well, not completely different. You still have the same. You're still looking at it from the same orientation. From wherever this area is, but off the camera, looking over towards this area of the set. All these angles kind of fall into that. You kind of have it from sort of more like I'm assuming this is the right side of your set, and you have the camera pointed towards the left side of your set, right over here, based on what I can tell at least. Which again, not bad. You're not breaking the 180 rule, though. I think it would just be, it would be like, okay, so here actually you do break the 180 rule. Now, so this shot might actually be a bit confusing because the camera was right here, looking there, right? And now the camera is over here, looking up that way. But this is what I mean, right? You could have had. I guess you did have more space. You could have had a few more shots. I think when Venom and Spider-Man were confronting each other from around this angle. What if you put the camera around this spot right here, and you had it looking, you kind of had it looking over towards them, and sort of like in this angle. You got more of the background to look at. Because the issue is we've never seen this brick wall here before, so we don't exactly know where this is. When we cut to this angle. Well, I mean, we kind of get glimpses of it, but I'm not sure if it's enough. So we go here. It'd be nice if we had like a really big long shot of like we got to see the building that Spider-Man stood on top of. So that way you want to do that, so that way your audience kind of understands exactly what they're looking at, where they are in the set, like the geography of it. Ooh, that was nice. Yeah, I like how he punches him. So one of the reasons why okay, this change in shot is a little bit confusing, but it's not too confusing because you do keep the same characters in the frame, and me as the audience member can just kind of infer that we're not here. Um, The only thing is though, like, if you're a new audience member and you're watching this for the first time, you might be like, where am I? And you don't, like, like with an audience member, you need to give them some time to think and some time to mentally place themselves within your film set. It just helps them, it just helps them. It makes the viewing process easier, and that's kind of what you're looking for. You want to make the viewing process as easy as possible for the viewer to follow. That way, you can really let them just focus on the action bits or the funny bits that you're going for. You don't want to make them be thinking too hard about what's going on or where they are. So once again, I think, yeah, we just need, like, the thing is about this shot is, although once again we're in a completely new area that the audience may not recognize, really interesting, really cool set design. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff you got going on here. I really like this set that you have. What is this set? Please tell me what it is, cause I want it. Anyways, so you got it. So the thing about this shot is that, right, you have him land on the American flag, pretty nice. And you have him spin the web straight down, right onto Venom. So now we instantly know that this area was right above where they fought. So that's good because you have a connecting shot. You have one shot here. It directly connects to this shot here, and the audience member is led towards that next shot thanks to this spinning web right here. One thing I would change again is just maybe center Miles a bit more. Maybe have the camera look a bit more to the left, so that way we can have him, like, front and center. You kind of want to keep your characters in the focus. You want to make sure that the biggest thing, that the thing that the audience is focusing on, right? Because if you have a shot like this, we're kind of focusing on this, on this decoration here on the building. Um, and that might just be hard to, like, you want to guide the viewer's eyes to where you want them to go. Again, you do that pretty well here with the web spinning down, going directly onto Venom, letting us know exactly where Miles landed. So that's nice. And then you come back to this shot and you have him spin around. So let's watch that. Pew! Nice. I like that sound effect you gave him, that throwing sound effect. I guess the one thing, okay, so this isn't really, like, might just be a limitation of the set, but having black on black set design can be a little bit hard to follow. Also, just once again, I think the biggest thing we should probably learn from this experience is that just center the frame, just center the frame more. Just have a more sense of direction with your shots by having the characters really be front and center. Make sure that they take up the most amount of frame, when necessary. Because I guess here he's kind of tucked away in this shot. Although we're still focusing on him. It'd just be nice to have, like, a bigger image of him to focus on. Shot it. Nice. Nice, I like this. Nice, I like these effects. Okay, wait a second. Why did Miles move his hand up, but I started talking? It's a good thing I have different voice actors for this, otherwise it'd be confusing. Uh, so I guess another thing I'd like to say about this sort of sequence here, not bad. You have them swinging on the set. Nice. You got him incapacitated. You have that. Okay, that's a really important thing that you add in there, right? Is that you added this shot of Venom being sort of knocked out or incapacitated or just being thrown away, from the main character. So that way we know where he is, or we know what happened to him after he fell from the stairs. So now the audience can mentally place Venom within the set, within the geography of the set. So now when we see this happening, we're not like, what the heck? What happened to Venom? We know exactly what happened to Venom. That's good. Not as great. So now we kind of just you give these characters that space to breathe, from the whole Venom action. So I guess the one thing I would say here is that if you really want to make this shot, like, intimidating, like if you really want to make Venom super crazy intimidating, you want to have maybe the camera go from a lower angle. One thing I've noticed so far from this entire video is that the camera is always looking down on the characters. Now, one thing about looking down on your characters is that that's how you make them feel kind of small. And they are Lego minifigures, so that makes sense. They're small. But if you want to make them feel, like, grandiose, intimidating, larger than life, you might want to go a little bit lower with your camera and point straight up. I'm going to once again use my own example here just because, as I want to make Spider-Man in this shot feel very intimidating. So I have the camera very close to him. But I also make sure that the camera is looking up at him. You know, it's from a lower angle, and and the camera's looking up, so that way Spider-Man feels a little bit larger than life, a little bit more intimidating than we're used to. And you can do the same thing with Venom here. In this shot, you can do the same thing where you can have him, you know, you can have the spider characters feel a little bit smaller. You can have Venom feel a bit larger, more intimidating by having the camera lower but looking up at him. You know, like physically lower on the ground, closer to the ground but looking up. It's a low angle shot. Also, just dynamicize the angles a bit more here, right? Because we've been looking at this exact same camera angle now for a few seconds. I'm not saying the thing about your style is that you could theoretically also have a shot where it's one long shot where many things happen, right? And the camera can stay stationary the entire time. But I think if you're gonna do something like that, you might want to pick a more advantageous camera angle point to really to really look at the subjects from. If you want to do something like that, you might want to have the camera placed a lot further back, so that way maybe we can see both the characters and the background. Like the really, you really want to get that sense of scale for your set. You clearly have a lot of set space to work with, based on what I'm seeing here in shots like this, right? You have a lot of buildings, and you have a lot of space, it seems, right? So move the camera, try moving the camera back. Try giving the audience a lot more scenery to soak in when all this is going down. But this is cool. I like the animation, how they pop out. It's pretty nice. And again, the shocking powers. Who doesn't love effects? Gotta take him to prison. So I think with something like this, it's a pretty big deal that he's transformed into Bully Maguire. So once again, I want to see his face when something like this happens. Right now, we're kind of just looking at his back, but I really would like to see his face. I really want to see that transformation process take place. And when you have it come from behind, you kind of take away that sort of intimacy as well as the drama. If we're just getting a shot of his back, it can be kind of hard to connect to him as an audience member. But you got him attacking. Nice. I like the way you do this. Maybe the sticky tack is a little bit too big, so that can be kind of distracting. To be continued. I wonder what's gonna happen next. I actually really like, despite everything I said about this video, I hope it doesn't seem like it's too negative, because I really do like this video. I thought it was fun. I think the jokes land. I really like the way the characters move. There's something really like fun and cute about it. That's very endearing, like this. Like there's something about the timing of the editing, the timing of the voice acting, the sound effects, all that. I think that honestly meshes well, really great. That's why I haven't really been saying anything about that. Is because honestly, I think all that's great. I just really think that it can be elevated a lot more just by, upping your cinematography a bit. Just by having more, like further out shots, maybe more close-up shots of important moments like this. Um, and like with a shot like this, you can maybe have it once again from the ground. You can have Peter's legs, mostly in frame, and you can have Miles kind of cowering on the ground. You can kind of get that ground level. Um, but one thing I guess, Venom is kind of just sitting here watching at this point. You kind of forget that he's in the shot. But I guess in a moment like this, you want to maybe have him like kind of like maybe move his head every now and again to make sure to give him that feeling that he's still a part of the action. Well, there he did. He just did right there. My bad. Maybe ignore what I said. This is pretty. Honestly, I really do like this video. Like, I know I've been saying that, but when I watched it for the first time, I thought the jokes landed. I thought it was funny. I really like this bit you got up here with Spider-Man swinging on this rooftop. You got this nice rooftop here. Again, though, I think maybe you can just like space out the blue background and the building just to make it seem a little bit more deep. Uh, Animation wise, I honestly think so. Like, uh, so animation is kind of a weird thing to critique, right? Because I think the thing about animation is that there's no like Obviously there are a few things I can say about it, but I think a lot of it just has to do with experience. I think you'll naturally just as you go on you'll get better, but there's already signs of really nice animation here too. So some of it maybe, you have a maybe I suggest you don't need as many frames as this for the kick. Like you have this first winding up kick, and then maybe this frame you won't need. But this frame is nice. You want to have the wind up or you want to have the start up, and then you want to have the impact. One thing here though, just to get a little bit more into the nitty gritty. So you have Venom. He's standing still right here, right? He's standing upward and straight. Then you have him lean forward, and then you have him lean back. That can be kind of jarring, right? Because you have him in multiple different. You have him kind of like so it's a little shaky looking because of that. So you have him. He goes down, then he goes up, then he goes forward without really changing much forward or backwards in relation. Though this actually would look nice. But the thing is, the next frame you want Venom to lean backwards a lot more if you want to have that smooth motion here. Because then he does that. Actually, you know what? This works. Let's look at this. It's so weird, right? Because traditionally, in terms of the rules and stuff, it doesn't really follow any smooth arc or anything. But there's something about it that looks right. I don't know what it is. Maybe the constant shaking. Maybe you're onto something, and I can't see it. But I like it. I like it. I like the way he moves. Um, Again, it's not like like in terms of animation, maybe like the Disney people will be like, whoa, you're not following any of the proper rules or anything. But I mean, if it works, right? I think it works at least. Maybe his hands here are a little bit shaky, right? Just because in this frame you forget to put his arms down. Um, just always got to make sure you're always staying on top of that, I guess. You want to have him, I guess, settle his arms a bit more before he goes in for this next attack.
Are you having fun yet?
What's going on here?
Oh my god, is that Pete? I gotta help him.
I gotta help him. Oh, another thing.
What's going
Okay,
on here?
so
Oh my god, is that
I
Pete?
guess,
I
whoops.
gotta help him.
For like a shot like this, you want to see Miles's face. I know it's Miles Morales just because the video title tells me it's Miles Morales, and I'm assuming he knows who Peter is. Um,
Gotta help him.
but I'd still like to see his face. I think that's something important, right? You got to be able to really the face is the window to like the character's soul. You need something attached to. I think it could use a few more face shots because the only face you really have a lot of focus on is Venom's face in this brick film. Having more focus on Spider-Man's face could probably help. Uh, and Miles's face as well. But aside from I hope it doesn't seem like I'm kind of just like like dumping on this video because I do think it's a good video, and I think there is a lot and I think there's like a lot of like great things at work here. I think we just kind of need to dust off a few minor intricacies to make it to really let it shine. Uh,
Where are you going?
I don't know exactly what camera equipment you're using though, so maybe a lot of this could be due to limitations. I'm not entirely sure. But that's I think my main takeaway is to just really diversify your angles. In terms of animation itself, again, I'd say try and pay more attention to the arcs. Um, Try giving them more bounce when they land or more impact. Like so when he falls from the sky here, like I said earlier, you want to give him more of a bounce when he lands because he kind of just lands and then he just kind of lands perfectly still. So that looks like it's a very soft landing. You don't really have a lot of impact or juice behind that fall.
Don't
Um,
worry about that.
Same with this fall here, right? So
Time to worry about that.
he kind of just lands and then he just stays still. Again, I hate bringing my own stuff over and over again, but I think it's just like the comparison. When I have Spider-Man land here, I have the landing frame and then I have him dip really hard, right? And the reason why I have him dip is because when you land, there's a lot of energy in your body that you got to disperse. Has to go somewhere, right? You don't just say, when you move your body in when you move your body in any way, shape, or form, especially with a lot of momentum, you can't just stop on a dime. That just life is not like that. You need to that energy has to go somewhere. So I would have Venom bed forward a lot more, and then slowly dip back up, like I do right here. Maybe this is not the best example because you know it immediately cuts to a different angle. Um,
Where are you going, spider?
I hope that this can help in some sense. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. It's a long video so far. Uh, but
Think so.
let's look more into the jail scene. Oh wait, Venom strike scene. So with Venom hitting the wall,
Think so.
I think the sound effects really do add that oomph. It's really nice sound design you got going on. But with Venom hitting the wall again, maybe you want to add like that shake here, you know, that bit of like that bit of impact, because you're never standing still, especially in an action scene. You're never completely still. You gotta have that bit of dispersion of energy, um, shifting throughout your body. So that can result in like a shake or like a convulsion or something like that. You know, something that like like say for example right now, I guess hit your like you know try hitting your palm with your fist, not right now, like not very hard, but just like you know very lightly tap your palm with your fist. You'll notice that when you tap your palm, it will do like a little bit of a shake. That's because that's the energy, that's the force meeting the object. That's just kind of like how and then once it meets that object, it needs to disperse throughout the body. um so that's kind of like what you want to go for with your animation too, right? Add that bit of a bounce, add that bit of a quake,
Come on, Miles. We gotta take.
give it like you know a nice solid shake up.
Plague.
Like you do that kind of here, you know. Like check this out. You kind of like you make him lean forward. You make him lean forward, and then you make him immediately bounce back, because that's Peter regaining his momentum. That's Peter gaining his balance. So it's nice that you did that. Uh, a lot of it is just kind of understanding physics, not really even having like an advanced understanding, just kind of like observing how bodies move, and what causes them to move the way they do, and then just you know recreating that or translating that to Lego. Again, you know, like I said before, just you want to have maybe more close-ups of their faces. But honestly, aside from all that, I actually think this video is pretty great, and I think there's a lot of potential we can see here. So pretty nice. I hope this didn't seem like I was just like like critiquing it or like saying bad things about it, because this is honestly a pretty fun video and it made me laugh a lot and I really enjoyed it. So I hope this critique in some way helps you. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'll talk to you later.